Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome for our guest speaker today, Kirsten Pert.
I remember the summer of 2006 like it was yesterday. The weather had been unseasonably hot, even along the coast, and my husband John and I decided to join the Labor Day crowds and enjoy a day at the beach with our 2-year-old son, Zane. We had been busy preparing for the birth of our second child, who was due to be born in less than a week's time, and we wanted some time together before the baby's arrival. I remember watching my boys frolic in the ocean waves and feeling my unborn child mimic their energy with frequent kicks inside my belly. I sat on my beach chair that day and reflected on how all of our lives would soon change with the birth of this child. Never did I imagine how significant that change would be. Less than 48 hours later, during a routine fetal ultrasound, my husband and I were told that our baby's heart was no longer beating. That due to unknown causes, our baby had died. That I was to give birth to a baby that I would never take home. That we would never watch our child grow up and live the life we had hoped for and dreamed about. Our world shattered. In one brief moment, we were given news that a parent never expects to hear. On September 7th, 2006, 5 days shy of her first full-term due date, our daughter Emma was born on the labor and delivery unit at Mission Hospital. She was 6 pounds, 11 ounces, 20 inches long, beautiful, and perfect. The heartbreak of her simultaneous birth and death was unbearable. The anguish was excruciating. Being given only a few hours to live what should have been a lifetime together was an impossible undertaking. And saying goodbye to Emma for the last time was the most difficult thing I have ever done. The day after I was discharged from the hospital, brokenhearted and empty-handed, my husband and I were driving northbound on Interstate 5 when we passed the Crown Valley Parkway off-ramp. Sitting over at Mission Hospital, I told my husband that eventually I would like to spend some time at Mission, volunteering, helping others who experience what we just had. He, of course, told me I was getting ahead of myself, and perhaps I was. But here I stand before you, living proof of a self-fulfilling prophecy made that day. The days, weeks, and months that followed were dreadful. The pain was suffocating. I was catapulted into a world I knew nothing about. However, I quickly learned that stillbirth is terribly misunderstood. I felt so alone. This made the grief significantly more difficult, and these emotions fueled my continued yearning to help others. I made a silent vow that somehow I would effect some degree of change for families facing this same tragedy. My involvement with Mission Hospital is evidence of that promise unfolding. Initially, I joined the Perinatal Bereavement Committee, charged with reviewing and revising infant loss policies and protocols. It was here that I shared insight and resources that only a former patient, and in this case, a bereaved parent, could offer. Over time, this involvement has resulted in many enhancements to Mission Hospital's perinatal bereavement program, some of which include professional remembrance photography, now being offered to families who suffer the loss of a baby, a comprehensive review and revision of infant loss materials that are presented to patients, additional bereavement education and sensitivity training for maternity floor nurses, and the recent approval of a peer-to-peer support program specifically for bereaved parents. My involvement broadened when I joined Mission Hospital's first Patient Family Advisory Council in 2008, dedicated at that time specifically to maternity care. This was a timely shift in my involvement, since in that same year, I once again became a maternity patient myself, with the emotional birth of our third child, Mila. 4 years later, I remain an active member of this Patient Family Advisory Council and proudly serve as its chair. Our council now focuses on various aspects of women's health, with a current emphasis on maternity care and breast health. Much has resulted from this collaborative relationship forged with Mission Hospital, and through the efforts of many, we have many accomplishments to be proud of. My efforts to bring about change spread beyond the campus of Mission Hospital as well. Following Emma's birth, I made an inquiry about her birth certificate, but was informed that a stillborn baby was only to receive a death certificate. I was confused. I had given birth, and the state was acknowledging Emma's death, but there would be no official acknowledgement of her birth. My daughter may have been stillborn, but she was, after all, still born. I probed deeper and learned that it would take a change to California statute for stillborn babies to receive birth certificates. I was intrigued. And within a few short months, I found myself engrossed in a complicated, yet in the end successful, legislative journey. And so today, after countless hours of tireless lobbying, change prevails. California parents experiencing stillbirth may now request a birth certificate for their child. So why do I share Emma's story and all that has unfolded since then with you? My hope is that you may carry a simple message with you as a result of my time spent here today. Mother Teresa summarizes this message best in a brief yet powerful quote. We cannot all do great things, but we can do small things with great love. Until my daughter Emma was born, I never knew that love could be so powerful. That even in death, love prevails. On that tragic day in September 5 years ago, I never imagined that I would be able to look back and see the heartfelt and touching moments that were shared, but thankfully, now I do. I am able to reflect upon how the caregivers at Mission Hospital cared for us with sincere compassion, how they offered us perfect care, even in the most imperfect of situations, and gave us the gift of precious memories of our daughter, Emma. These sacred encounters have become even more sacred to me because of my tragedy. Today, Emma remains an integral part of our family. Our son Zane is her big brother. Our daughter Mila is her younger sister. And John and I are her proud parents, a deeply bonded family of 5. And so, with Emma as my youngest teacher, my ever-present guide, and my greatest inspiration, I have learned that small things done with great love can make all the difference. That even helping one person can change the world. I hope that my daughter may too inspire you to do small things with great love. Thank you.